How's it going, guys? This is Avollon, or should I say Mando, and welcome back to Avollon's World. May the 4th be with you. It's been 2 years since I was going to jump off this, but I'm on my ledger. It's been 2 years since I've done a May 4th special, and today, as you can tell, we're wearing a Mandalorian outfit, or the Mandalorian outfit. I've had the skin saved in my save skins for a while, and I figured today of all days would be the day to bring it out. This is the way. Today we are going to be working on more Star Wars projects, as the only thing is Star Wars in this world is the 332nd Clone Trooper map art we did back in 2020. It's now 2022, and I'm staring at these two areas right two. Yeah, it's one big area, but we're going to be building two things here. It's not going to be as crazy as a map art, but it's still going to be cool, and it's still going to be fun, and it's still going to be interesting, and I'm going to use some note blocks. Yeah, you know, who uses note blocks a lot anymore? I used them once in this world for the Game of Thrones dragon way off in the distance over there. And we're going to be using the note blocks to make the Mandalorian theme song. I believe it is the opening, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure. I found the tutorial quite some time ago. Saved it for this occasion. But what are we building? We're building two statues. I was going to do Mando and the Child, or Mando and Grogu, whichever you want to call it, Baby Yoda, whatever. But getting Mando and Grogu and Baby Yoda to be size accurate to each other was kind of difficult. We're going in this kind of style for the statue. This is, I believe, my own creation. I'm not entirely sure. I obviously created the statue itself and designed it, but I'm not quite sure if like the overall style of it was mine. I honestly forget. But I came up with two characters. You'll have to wait and find out. Ooh, that's my inventory. Wait and find out who they are later on in the episode. My skin might be a spoiler for that, but we're not going to say anything. And we're going to build them over by Emma's monument, right over here, right on top of the underground sugarcane farm, which if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know it was there. And we're going to build them right here. And then we're going to make a note block song, and that's literally it. That's all we're doing. I had some crazy, ridiculous plan, and it was crazy ridiculous, and yeah, I don't have that much time. So, let's get crack-a-lackin' on building these statues, shall we? built as a mini statue in my world. Will forever be in this world now. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Clearly it's, not really accurate to the skin. I kind of went off of more of a Lego minifigure I had right next to my desk, to be honest. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. I went for the cape instead of the jetpack. I feel like the cape is a little bit more easier to do than a jetpack, as you'll find out later. I could have done the jetpack, but I think the cape looks cool, and I could add a little bit of a wavy, flowing motion to it, add a little bit more life to it. And overall, I think the Mandalorian turned out pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. Other than the the stone slabs on the top would be nice. We had concrete slabs just slaying. That kind of is a thing, concrete slabs, but not in Minecraft. Not in Minecraft. Not yet, at least. And so, now we turn on to our next statue, which is going to go right here behind me, and it's going to follow the same theme, the same general idea, and it's from the same show, quote unquote, more or less. Depending on which classification you use, you will find out after the time lapse, but I built the platform up at the same height, and then in the middle here is where the note block tune will be able to be activated, so you can listen to the Mando theme, because this is the way. depending on how you look at it, Boba Fett and his re-armored armor, I guess is what you want to call it. New paint scheme from The Mandalorian Season 2, or The Book of Boba Fett, depending on which one you really want to say it's based off of. But this is a Mando themed area now, and he technically did appear first in Mando Season 2. This one was kind of interesting. Obviously, it kind of follows the same principle as Mando. I understand their helmets are slightly different, but for the most part, it is almost identical besides the jetpack. He has a, almost like a scarf around his neck, so I simulated that with the black wool. And then for his skirt, waist cape thing, I'm not quite sure what you would call it. I did try using wool. I felt that was a little too bulky, so I ended up using banners, and I actually think it gets the point across. Just from far away, you don't see it too well. And I have a couple little, green terracotta and green concrete that reference the darker areas, the concrete powder up there to reference the dent in his helmet, because it is, indented there. That was a little... I don't know if it's actually considered canon, but in the Book of Boba Fett, we got introduced to Cad Bane. He's from the Clone Wars, and there was a animated reel that didn't get finished when Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney that had Cad Bane versus Boba Fett, and it kind of showed how Boba's helmet got dented, even though that doesn't make much sense, because it's technically Beskar, and Beskar deflects blaster bolts, but this blaster bolt dented a Beskar helmet. If it was a Beskar helmet, I believe Boba's armor is Beskar, the last time I checked at least. But yeah, we got Boba here, and for his things down at the bottom, we're going to use black wool for the lights here, so they're not light, bright blue. We're going to use black, and that kind of finishes off Boba Fett. There are two things I got to finish off in the back, though. I got to swap out the gray bits for blue, because it is technically... There's blue on his jetpack, believe it or not. At least in the image I saw. I was kind of shocked, too, but that is that. Those are the two statues, done and dusted. Now we get to work with some note blocks. Okay, we got a hole. Good news is we got easy access. Bad news is we got easy access. This is not going to be exposed by the time we're done with it, but it does give us an easy way to access it while we're building up the redstone and everything. So there is another problem, and I believe if I come over here, we're on right on top of the sugarcane farm. Thankfully, we only need really 2 blocks in height. We only really technically need 1, technically speaking. But I'm going to do 2, and then there are a couple leaf blocks here that we're going to have to replace with the glowstone, which should help light it up. So, I haven't worked with note blocks since the Game of Thrones note blocks, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, I built this dragon over here in a similar fashion to help celebrate the final season of Game of Thrones, as not as good as it was, but I designed this dragon and I'm really proud of it. And I made the note block song, and I'm not going to play it because this is a Star Wars episode, not a Game of Thrones episode. So, we go back to Boba and Mando, and let's start work on the note block, shall we? I will link the person tutorial down below. I actually can flip it over. It is Roofish Gaming made the tutorial, as I'm watching the video currently. And it looks like it's a really good tutorial. He's only got a little under 4,000 subscribers, so if you aren't subscribed to him, please go subscribe to this guy. He seems like he makes some pretty good tutorials, and he clearly lays out the note blocks on where you have the note blocks, the redstone dust, the repeaters, what tick the repeaters are on. Makes it really simple. The video is a whole 3 minutes long for this. I mean, it's only a couple seconds of the song, but I'm not making a whole giant song, because that would, take forever and be really time consuming. And, it's may or may not be May 3rd, or, 3 hours from May 4th. Who knows? May or may not be. Alright, note blocks are done, and I remembered why I don't use these things. I feel like these could use an overhaul in and amongst themselves, so you can see the tune and number on the block. I know there's like texture packs and visual aids that you can get, but it's not in the vanilla game. I feel like these don't get used too often, and that's why, because looking at this, it looks like a note block, you know? What am I supposed to do with this? Like, you can't tell what tune they are, but the tutorial I watched, the guy was super helpful. He paused I paused the video, and he put the number of tunes, how many times you gotta click the note block on each of the note blocks, and then he actually had a really good system. He used a color code pattern with different colors to determine what type of repeater you put where, whether it was 1 tick or... Actually, you're supposed to be 4 ticks. And this one should be yellow for 1 tick. There's green for no ticks. It's supposed to be blue for redstone, but I don't have blue. And so here we are. It's still exposed, so I have plenty of grass to cover it up, but let's give it a listen, shall we? This is the Mando's theme song, or the opening song, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is supposed to be that. You are yellow, so you're good. There are a couple points where I messed up. I could tell that much, and here's a green, if you're wondering. So let's give it a listen again, shall we? Messed up on that one, too. That one's fine, that one's fine, that one's fine. And I'm just finding all my mistakes. I think it's pretty good. It's just the couple opening seconds, which is probably the most iconic, to be honest. And it's pretty cool. Now, we need to do some more redstone, and we need to cover that hole up, because we don't need to get in there anymore. Speaking of which, I should probably take the glowstone and figure out where these leaf blocks are, so nothing spawns. I don't think I need to do this one. Yeah, that one's fine. Maybe that one, and I believe that's it. So yeah, let me cover up this hole, add in some redstone, and let's finish off this project. And as the sun sets behind us, we are officially done with said project. We can just chuck these remnants in here and pick up our stuff and call this a job well done. A nice tiny toast to one of the more recent Star Wars projects that have kind of revived and revitalized the Star Wars community and just Star Wars in general. If I'm being completely honest, The Mandalorian and the offshoot, The Book of Boba Fett, which wasn't as good, but it had its moments. It had its moments. Like Mando, Season 3, you know, in Chapter 5. Anyways, we got our redstone in place, really simple, and we just gotta press the button for Mandalorian theme. Now, it's not perfect, but it is darn pretty good and better than I could ever do. And then I added some signs to show us who these are, because I have signs over there on my statue. You got the Mandalorian. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. You know, one of his famous lines. Says it multiple times in the show. Really, really fun line, and, you know, this is the way. But that was just kind of... That's all Mandalorians, pretty much. So this is more his quote and his line. And for Boba Fett, I went for a little bit of a callback to Empire Strikes Back. He's no good to me dead. Because Boba Fett in the original trilogy said, like, next to nothing. And I feel like this is a more iconic quote for Boba than anything in the Book of Boba Fett, even though this is based off The Mandalorian. You get the point, and I think this project turned out pretty good. We got the terrain fixed up in the back here. It's all lit up, and now we don't have to worry about it being light level 8 or below, because, you know, 1.18. And we got a nice little thing. So the only thing we can do is to go look at our map and see how it looks. I have not updated it yet. And it should be right on... Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Right on this one. Okay, it's I gotta walk. Give me a minute. Gotta walk. Okay, yep, that didn't really do much. Didn't do much at all. You can see it right there. Boba really blends in. Mando's a little bit better. But then we have that, and that kind of just helps fill in the area and bring some Star Wars vibes into the area. So now you'll see them. They're pretty blatantly obvious that they're there, and it's pretty easy to tell who they are if you know who they are. I mean, a lot of people know Mando, and I'm assuming a lot of people know Boba from Mando versus the ones who knew Boba from Empire. But hey, we're all Star Wars fans here, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So I'd like to wish you guys a happy May 4th. Hope you guys are enjoying your Star Wars day. You know, whether it be watching Star Wars movies, shows, reading books, comics, whatever it is. Just do something with Star Wars and celebrate the amazing space genre movies that we have gotten for how many years now? Started all the way back in 1977. If my memory serves me correctly, because it was 80 and then 83 for Empire and Return of the Jedi, so it's been quite some time, and Star Wars has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, so it only makes sense for me to celebrate. Oh, those are phantoms. Makes sense for me to celebrate May 4th by building one of the more recent characters and one of the most popular characters from the modern Star Wars universe. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a like. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. It would make my day. And you know, we'll catch you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you. Farewell.